Okay, so we are live. All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's the October edition of VUJS Nigeria, and it's glad to have everyone here. And sorry about the inconvenience that last month's edition, the cancellation of last month's edition might have caused. But we're right back again, and this promises to be a beautiful session with Turiola, who will be talking about web accessibility and all that pertains to that. So I believe everyone here is a front end engineer, and then if you're a back end engineer and you probably have great interest in things that pertain to web accessibility, then this is the right meetup for you. So, for one, I know that I haven't introduced myself. I am Uche Azubuko, one of the co-organizers of UJS Nigeria, and then Tiriola is here with us, and Amarachi is also here with us. Amy is also here with us. My little understanding of web accessibility is that it's that route to build products and solutions for everyone, even those who are disabled and impaired in whatever way, can find effective usage with it. Right. So you're building for everyone. You're not just building for people um who are doing well. I
Hi
mean,
everyone.
you're
Can anyone
building
hear me?
for who's talking? Hello? Was anyone saying something?
No,
Okay. So web accessibility, of course, has to do with building for everyone, right? Including visually impaired, disabled, and also that everyone finds a product to be usable and useful. So I feel like that's the little I know, but Teriela is here to do justice to that and have all of us understand what it's really all about and how important it is for us while we are building solutions. So I would hand over to Teriela right now as she takes over the session for today. Welcome, Teriela. You can unmute yourself as you proceed.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Hello everyone. Can anyone hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
our viewers are
Hello.
viewing from YouTube, so
Okay. Thank you so much for joining this session. My name is Toriola. Can I present now?
yes, you can.
Okay.
Feel free to do whatever it is you love to do.
All right. Am I presenting correctly? Can you see my screen? Hi, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay. Okay. Hello everyone. Once again. I think I might find my face now. Okay. Yeah. Hello, everyone, once again. My name is Toriola Faida. And today I'll be talking to you about web accessibility with a focus on comprehensible structure for websites and web applications, right? So, I'm a front end engineer at Board Admin, and I'm a lover of clean and amazing UI designs. I know that sounds cliche, but it's probably because I really suck at designing. I know how to combine black and white together, but when it comes to other colors, nah. So when I see amazing design, I really see designers as like mini gods or like messiahs. So if I'm not working, I'm probably watching movies or sleeping or talking with my friends and family because talking for me seems like therapy. Yeah, so web accessibility, what exactly is web accessibility? Like, web accessibility is the extent to which your website can be used by everyone, regardless of who they are, regardless of their disability, regardless of their ability, regardless of their language. Are they native English speakers? Regardless of their screen size, mobile screen, tablet, desktop, and stuff like that. So, why do I really need to make my website accessible? I mean, is it necessary? Yeah, it is necessary to make your website accessible so you can provide equal access and opportunity for people with disabilities. There is already a whole lot of things that these people cannot do because of their disability, and accessing the web shouldn't be one of them, right? There are people um that that have been able-bodied for more than half of their lifetime. So when it got to a point in their lifetime that they got disabled because of, one situation or the other, and they stopped being able to do what they were able to do, right? It would be very weird and wrong. I mean, and sad at the same time because, oh, I can't do this anymore because I have issues with my site. I can't access the web anymore because I have issues with my hearing and stuff like that. And there are people that are equally born with disabilities. It would be unfair for us to leave them out because of their disability, right? So, an accessible web can help people with disabilities participate more actively in the society. The fact that they're accessible shouldn't mean that, okay, some programs are specifically will specifically leave them out, right? So, an accessible web can actually help these people participate more in the society. That is why even on the roads, like in developed countries, you tend to see spaces where people who have wheelchairs and stuff like that can actually walk or move freely. And accessibility is more of empathy than compliance, like trying to put yourself in these people's shoes. How would I feel if, okay, I've been able to do some stuff or I can't do some stuff, or you cannot do some things because of your disability. I mean, it's and you might actually be doing yourself a future. You might be doing yourself help in future because old age is some sort of disability too, because your physical and cognitive function tend to decline with your old age. So I don't know if that I should say it is common that okay, you probably build this website or web application as a front end engineer, as a UI UX designer, and then you grow old. Probably the application does not need to be altered or rebuilt or something like that, and it was left just the way you did it. You grow old and you are not able to like access the website because you are old. And another thing about accessibility is that you might be saving yourself some future trouble because in 2016, a blind man, I think his name is Guillermo Robles or something like that, he sued Domino's Foods because he couldn't order food from their website despite using screen readers and everything. Domino's Food to avoid that lawsuit now was rejected by the US Supreme Court because it was perceived as a discrimination against disabled people. I really don't know how that case ended, but I think it's bad enough that a full-fledged company is being sued uh, for stuff like that. And in US, as at 2020, there are about over 2,000, yeah, filed lawsuits in the court of law claiming that websites are not accessible. So you can imagine how these people will be feeling that they cannot access the web because of their disability. I mean, when I try to imagine it, I really don't know how it's going to be. So that's why accessibility is more of empathy than compliance. It's more of like you putting yourself in these people's shoes. If you were the one, how will it be if someone disabled can do this thing and you as a disabled person cannot do that same thing, right? So, what are the causes of accessibility problems? I think the elephant in the room is that there is a wide knowledge gap in web fundamentals, right? I don't think I've come across any web development course or boot camp. I'm saying personally because you might have, but me, I have never, not for once, come across any web development course or front end development course that actually lay much emphasis on web accessibility. I mean, they talk about semantics, semantic HTML and stuff like that, but not really, they don't really lay much emphasis about web accessibility. Some people say it's boring. I don't know. That's just it. Another thing is that some business decisions promote bad accessibility practices. I mean, most times when you build a website or web application, when you're done, okay, it's working fine now. You tend to like run it through some tools. Like most times I use Lighthouse Audit, Google Lighthouse Audit to check for accessibility issues and any other issue like SEO and stuff like that. So when you realize that there are errors or there are things you are meant to fix, your PM might not understand that okay, accessibility issue, it is working, right? It is working. And your PM might not want to like wait for you to fix accessibility issue. And it's not only your PM, it could be the investors of the products, it could be the CEO of your company. Oh, it's working fine. Yeah, let's move to production. The market is already waiting. So these are examples of business decisions that promote bad accessibility practices. They feel like there is no time to, I mean, accessibility is like secondary, right? And another thing is that it's hard to test for accessibility on tools. I mean, the most common way to still test for accessibility is to test with tools. But the best way is to test with real users, diverse group of users. Someone that is visually impaired, someone that is that has partial impairment. It could be visual, it could be auditory, it could be someone that is old, right? Someone that has cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a form of disability that the person has problem with movement. They move by reflex, like their movement is not voluntary, right? So people like this make use of keyboard to navigate through websites. So you test with varieties like diverse group of people. One, where do you want to get a whole lot of people? And the time, the pay, right? So it's really hard to test for accessibility generally, right? So that's it. I think I've personally watched the course on accessibility, and the very first module of that course was the tutor trying to interview an old man. So the old man was talking about stuff that he really does not like on websites, and it was nice trying to hear from his own perspective. So from these people you'll be able to hear from them, okay, is this website, is it operable, can you operate it without me telling you that, oh, you shouldn't do this, you should do this instead. Is your website understandable, can they understand it without any help? I mean, it's not like they're trying to build something that they have to read documentation to access your website or to navigate your website. And yeah, that's it. So we are moving on to the subtopic under accessibility for today, which is comprehensibility. So comprehensibility is the capability of being understood. Like how comprehensible is your website to a lot of people? Non-native English speakers, mobile screen users, people who cannot see at all, people who have partial visual impairment, people who have total impairment, sensory impairment, auditory impairment, paralyzed people, keyboard navigators, and a whole lot of people. Like, how comprehensive is your website to diverse group of people? And so The elements of comprehensible structure. What are those things that make up the structure of your website being comprehensible, being understandable? And then we have clean markup, page navigation, site navigation, link purpose, and text alternative. And I'll be taking them one by one. I've been walking us through each of them one after the other. I hope I'm not too fast.
No, you're not too fast. You're doing well.
Okay. So talking of clean markup, um, you have to separate your markup from your styles. I mean, that has been like one of the fundamentals when you're learning HTML and CSS, like separation of, I think it was termed separation of concerns. Your markup from your styles. So it really helps when it really helps to document, like to document the markup from your styles. It will be really, in fact, if by the time you run through your site or application through tools like Lighthouse Audit, is going to tell you that nah, this is wrong. And yeah, so the second one is add language attributes to your HTML element, right? So this helps people that are using screen readers. I think I should show how a screen reader works. So screen reader is like a tool, is a software, like a voiceover that helps people who cannot see or people who have visual impairment to like navigate through your website. So it's like a voiceover that is reading the content of your website. Let me quickly show how a screen reader works. I think I should be, yeah. I hope that goes fast enough to delay no one.
Alert.
Okay,
Screen reader has been added to Chrome.
thank you.
Alert. Window audio file e-commerce website tab. Audio file. Home. See product. Visited link.
Okay.
New product.
So
Header.
this is how a screen reader works. Like it reads out the contents of the page, the contents of the website.
XX99 Mark II headphones. Heading 1. The new XX99 Mark II headphones is the pinnacle of pristine audio. It redefines your premium headphone experience by reproducing the balanced depth and precision of studio quality sound. Section. Features. Heading 2. In the box. Heading 3. Screen reader. Remove. Button.
I hope I've been able to do justice to a bit of how a voiceover or a screen reader works. So if I'm not able to see the website, at least there is a software or a tool that will read out whatever that is on that website for me. Right. So yeah. So if back to point two, add language attribute to your HTML elements. Like what this does is that it really helps software like screen readers to know the correct pronunciation that it will read out for the users, right? And then another thing it does is that it helps web browsers in interpreting scripts and characters correctly. So this is really essential, and it is possible for you to have more than one lang attribute on your page. You can add lang attribute to any other HTML element on your page. All right. I also have ensure your markup is compatible in all browser. If you realize that you are using a relatively new HTML element, you can try to confirm that, okay, is this element actually compatible on all browsers, across browsers? You can make use of the MDN docs or caniuse.com. I think caniuse.com is a great platform in knowing the compatibility of browsers, right, with whatever you're trying to use. I think it works with CSS properties too. So it will save you the stress of, okay, only Chrome users can see this element properly. Only Microsoft Edge users will not and stuff like that, those irregularities, I mean, it's reducing your accessibility. The fact that a whole diverse group of people will not be able to like make use of your website or web application, right? Because you are not your users and you really will not know what your users will try to access your website with. It could be Chrome, it could be Microsoft Edge, it could be any other browser. So that's why you need to be careful. Another thing is like you write informative and unique titles. Your title shouldn't be identical. Okay, let me give you an instance. Let's say I'm trying to order food from about I'm trying to like see their reservations. Let me just put it that way. Of about 3 to 4 different restaurants. Um, let's say I open a tab window. I'm trying to put myself in the shoe of someone who cannot see right now. Someone that is using a screen reader or a voiceover to navigate a website. So let's say I open this tab that has to do with reservations for Chicken Republic, then reservations for Sweet Sensation, reservation for the place restaurant, and the title of the reservation page is just reservation for the three websites, different websites. So imagine I can't see whatever is on my screen, and then I go to my voice and my voiceover starts reading out. It's going to say reservations. Reservations what? So that is why you need to write informative and unique titles, because you have millions of websites on the web, and if they are all having um if they are all having similar or same titles, I mean, it really won't help people that cannot see, right? So if it says reservations, I will have to go through the content of the website to know exactly the page I'm on. Reservation what? Okay, let me try and go through I mean, that's like stress for people like that. So it's better reservations, Chicken Republic, reservations, Swing Sensation, reservations, the place, right? And it should be like that for all other titles too. Your titles should be unique titles, right? And then you define landmark rules. We have main, article, banner, region, complementary, navigation, content info, and I'm not going to spend so much time on this because these are already redundant. It is no longer in use. But at the same time, I'm still going to show you how it is being used now. Before, I think that this should be before HTML5. You can have landmark. This is how landmark rules are being used. You have role of main. You can have role of navigation. Yeah, you can have role of content info, you can have role of article and stuff like that. But we don't you really don't need this anymore if you are using proper semantic elements like main, write your section, article and stuff like that. So semantic HTML already have inbuilt landmark rules. So this would it wouldn't be nice for you to say role of main again now. By the time you actually run your site through Lighthouse Audit or something like that, it's going to like throw an error for you to remove it. And same me, this is not necessary because it already has inbuilt the main element already has inbuilt landmark roles and regions, right? So um that's that for landmark roles. Yeah, so still on page navigation, use proper semantic HTML elements. I mean, stop throwing divs up and down. There are semantic HTML elements for proper semantics, for proper markup. You have the main, which is the major content that your users came to your to your page for. Like why exactly are these people here? Okay, this is the main content of my website, and you should wrap your main element around that. We also have a section. A section is a thematic grouping of a page. For example, here I think, yeah, this is just the header. The header is what is talking about the, yeah, so this is the header of this page. Then I have main. Then this is a section. I really wish, can I inspect here? Taking a lot of time. Let me do that. Yeah, so this is a section. This is another section. This is another, like, it's a thematic grouping of your web page, right? So we also have aside. Aside complements the main content of a page, right? It is mostly related to the main element, and most times the aside element is being used for sidebars, right? We also have an article element. An article element is an independent and repeated content. For example, on Twitter, each tweet on Twitter is an article element. I wish I can inspect it for you, but to take my time. So each tweet on Twitter is an article element, if because it is repeated, it is independent. Each tweet makes sense on its own, right? So if you have just one article on a page, it would be nice to use main element because it is just one. But if you have repeated content, content that is repeated, but it is independent, it makes sense on its own. It would be nice to use the article element. Then we have the nav element. Uh, it contains navigation links and controls. I've often seen it. In fact, I've done it before. That the menu button, like, yeah, the hamburger menu or menu button will be outside the navigation element, or the close icon, or sorry, the close button will be outside the navigation. Everything that is associated with navigation should be enclosed in the navigation element. Uh, the list item itself and all the controls. Yeah. Yeah, so another thing is that the use of headings, using headings properly. You should have just one H1 per page. Just one. Just one, no more. I think the problem is that we really do use text sizes or font sizes to judge. Oh, this text is big. Let me use H1. This text is big. Let me use H2. No, that's not the. In fact, I feel like proper heading levels are logical because you have to understand the content of that page to be able to write proper heading. And then do not skip heading levels. Don't move from H1 to H2. Sorry, don't move from H1 to H4. I think it still bottles down to, oh, this text is small, it should be H4. This one is big, it should be H1 or H2. This text is very tiny, though it's heading. Let me use H6. Don't skip heading levels. From H1 should be H2. H1 should be like your title, then the subheading should be H2, then subheading H3, and stuff like that. So you liken heading levels to table of content. Let me Okay, so on this page, this is the title of my page. What this page is about is XS99 Mark II headphones. And that's the one and only H1 I have on that page, right? Then the subheading, I'm still talking about my Mark II headphones. The subheading is features. Then under features, like, what is part of my features is still what is inside the box, what is coming with my headphone. If you check here, features is an H2, is a subheading. Then I have in the box as subheading. It is under features. Now, if you look at these text sizes, features and in the box, you realize that they have the same look, same typography, same size. So it is easy for me to say I'm going to use H2 and A2 for both of them. But no, if I want to liken it to a table of content, it has to be sequential. Heading, subheading, subheading, subheading. That is why it will be very hard unless I don't know what you'll be doing before you can get to H6. It is rare for you to get to H6. Most time H1, H2, A3. Then I have another subheading that okay, other products you may also like. Then under the products you may also like, I have other products. So this is like this is like a table of contents, kind of vibe or something like that. And then why this is essential is that this makes screen readers to know the levels because they read it out. Features, heading level 2. In the box, heading level 3. I'm not sure if you heard that the last time, but it was like reading them out. So the person that cannot see will be able to know that okay, this is the subheading of this page. This is the subheading of the page I'm still on. Oh, H1. That means that's the title of the page. So it really makes like when you make your website accessible, it really makes life easy for these people. It might not necessarily be for people who are able-bodied, but for people who have disability, it really like it makes their life easy. All right, so I think that's that about heading. Then I have area attribute. So area attribute, use area attribute to add information to accessibility tree. In real sense, area attribute does not change logic or function of elements. They don't add anything to the elements. But it changes how assistive technologies present content to the users. Let me show you an instance of how to use area labels. So this is a section, right? And then in this section, I have heading level H2. It is essential for you to have an heading level in your section, actually. So, talking about this section element, there is a controversy that section elements do not have any semantic meaning. So you need to add area labels to them. So how to use area labeled by is that area labeled by features. Then I have to connect my section to my heading. Area labeled by features. Then the ID of my heading will be the value of my area labeled by. Features. Let me show you another instance. So yeah. So this is another one with area labeled by products you may also like. Then my heading ID products you may also like. So that is area label. Sometimes you can add area label to any element. You just have to be careful because what the very first rule of area label is that don't use area label. So you have to be careful when using area label. Is it really necessary? Because there are some elements that you have conveyed the information, right? Okay, so let me give you another instance. Let's say there are multiple links on a page that is saying read more. Let's say I have about 4 articles on a page, and then I just split some text after the title of that article. I splitted some text, and then I have a link that says read more. For people who are using screen readers, I can add an area label and say read more about how to learn or how to work with accessibility or stuff like that. So that's like adding more information. Someone that can see already knows that okay, this is the particular article I want to read more about. But someone who cannot see, it is best you add more information so that the voiceover can read it out to them that okay, this is the particular article you want to read more about, right? So it only changes how assistive technologies present content to their users. So still on page navigation, you need to add bypass blocks to your site. So bypass blocks are like it's just a skip link actually. So when you navigate, I don't use a keyboard. I would have loved to like demonstrate that. So you give keyboard users the luxury of skipping to the main content of your page. I mean, I don't need to I don't need to start moving about each each navigation link before I get to the main content. So immediately I come on a website, I think sorry Immediately I come on the website, you should give keyboard users the luxury of adding a skip link to that will be the very first thing on that page. Having a skip link on your page that says skip to main content. And then when they click enter, they are able to go to the main content. So this happens when the user hits the tab key. And do not think that it is going to disturb the UI. You need to hide it actually. I think the Vue.js addressed that. So adding a skip link at the top of your page so users can skip content that is repeated on multiple web pages. I mean, I don't need to start going through the stress that I've been through. So you just like skip to the main content and know whatever I I'm on that web page for, right? So I think that's all for page navigation. So we are on site navigation now. So for site navigation, you need to follow common navigation patterns. Don't use weird or navigation patterns that people are not familiar with. Use navigation bars, use sidebars, hamburger menu, or breadcrumbs and stuff like that. The common ones like that everybody will be able to relate with. And you can also label different navigation elements, right? So this is another use of area label. It is not uncommon that you will have more than one navigation on a web page. You can have one at the top of the page. You can have another navigation at the footer, right? So the one by the side, you can easily use the aside element to wrap that or use the navigation too. But when you have more than one navigation element on your page, it is nice to label them, right? So I think I've mentioned this before, but all interactable elements should be in the nav element. Wrap everything in the nav element. Menu, close button, the links, everything should be in the nav element. So when the screen reader is reading it out, you say, okay, navigation element, okay, then you move in and say close and stuff like so. It really does not need to be outside or everything. For someone who can see, I mean, it doesn't really make any difference, but that's not what accessibility is about. It's not about some people being able to access while some people aren't. And you offer multiple and alternate ways to navigate through your website. I think the Vue.js has an excellent way of navigate having sorry, they have an excellent way of navigating to their website. They have multiple ways. They have this is a form of navigation. There's another form of navigation. Then there are previous next link here, right? So if if you have a website that is robust, like that is large, you can implement a search bar that can make life easy for people. I mean, they don't need to scroll all through because they are looking for some things. And in a way, accessibility works hand in hand with user experience, right? So you can have next or previous links, breadcrumbs, hot pages, search bar, sitemap. Unless your page is like small, it's a small scale application, you are very okay with using one or two ways or a way to navigate your website. But once you realize that your app is really large, you can have multiple ways to navigate. So moving on to the next one, define link purposes. Add text to your links. If I want to say, okay, If you want to learn about Vuejs official docs, visit https blah 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 blah. I mean, that's like vague. So it's nice to say this should be the text because this is what the screen reader will read to the person. Vue.js official router docs, and the screen reader is smart enough to know that it is a link, so it reads it out that Vue.js official router docs link, and then the user will be able to decide if he or she wants to visit the link. Right, so avoid using plain URL, use text instead. This should be your href uh link, but you should write meaningful text to your links, and add area attribute to make your links descriptive. I think I've mentioned that earlier when I was talking about uh that read more on more articles. Like you have multiple articles on a page, and then instead of it to say read more, you can add area label to your read more and say read more about web accessibility, right? So that helps screen readers, though it might really not add anything to me if I can see your website, because I can literally see the article I want to read more about. And another thing is that notify your users before opening a new tab or media. Okay, this link is a Vue.js official docs. Is it PDF? Is it Adobe? Is it, so it's great to let your users know the type of your link, right? And if it's going to take them to another tab, like it's an external site, or it's going to open a new window, so it is nice that you notify your users, right? It's great for accessibility and user experience. So in a situation where you don't want to write this, I mean, this seems ugly and stuff like that, so you can just use icons instead. So like this Vue.js official docs, you can use PDF. So if I can see my website, if I'm not using a screen reader, I can easily see that it's a PDF file, and then yeah, I'm aware it's a PDF file. But a lot of people who cannot like see what's on the website, so it is nice that you write explicit alt text for this image. So this is my link, Vue.js official docs. Then the image, we have alt text of visit Vue.js docs in a new window. I think this is wrong. It should be visit Vue.js docs uh PDF file or something like that. And you have to be careful when you're writing alt text attributes, because imagine you have a photographer and then you say this is a picture of someone that shoots people. I mean, that's like sending wrong information. Your information should be clear, descriptive, and explicit, right? So you don't give people another impression or a wrong impression about the image. They cannot see it. So it is your duty to let them know what the image is about. Okay, so use descriptive alt text on images that serve as links. So I think I have something like that here. This audio file leads to the home page, and I think it is a common convention that the logo of a site leads to the home page of that site. So it is nice that you just don't say home, right? So you say home, Chicken Republic, like be descriptive, write descriptive alt text so that I'll be able to know the home of the website I'm going to. And I think I've said this times without number, but this does not really matter to people who can see. This matters to people who are using assistive technologies, right? So, like we are on the last one now, and that is text alternative. Give all performative images meaningful alt text. So on the web, we have two types of images. We have performative images and decorative images. Performative images are images that when you remove them from that site, it reduces the meaning of the site. So performative images are images that are adding to the content of the site. So if you remove it, there is like a loop. There's like a, oh, okay, something is missing. It won't make the sense it was making when the image was still there. So performative images, you have to give them meaningful and alternative text. Fine, if I can see it, I can see that this is what this image is trying to convey. But if I can't, I should be able to hear, the screen reader should be able to give me descriptive explanation. I mean, that is why when I see crazy or silly alt text on Twitter, I mean, it really pisses me off because why are you writing um um I mean, I really don't want to go into that, but that's not the purpose of alt text attribute. It is to ensure that people who cannot see are able to understand or are able to know why or what the image is doing. So meaningful alt text should be given to all performative images on your site. So if your image is decorative, I mean, is if it's just to like beautify your site, uh if you remove it, the content is still intact. Yeah, those are decorative images. You really do not need to write alt text, but you need to add the alt text attribute. So it's just going to be alt empty, but the alt must still be there. So when the screen readers get to that image, it's going to skip it. And it will be nice to even add role of presentation to that image. So the screen reader will know that, okay, this image is used there. Let me just skip it. I don't need to read it out to this person. So the next one is that you describe charts or tables explicitly. If you have an image that is described, that, or if you have a chart or a table that is coming with images, or okay, if you have an image that is like portraying a chart or that is portraying a table or that is portraying an information that is explicit, you have to explain, and your explanation might be with the aid of other elements. Yeah, might be with the aid of other elements. Let's say you have this image that it has a table of charts and stuff like that. So you can actually, you might need to create a table, yes, that is conveying the information that is on that table, so that people who cannot see can know that this is exactly why what this table is saying. I know it's a lot, but if it were to be what if it were to be something we already inculcated since the beginning of your journey as a web developer, I don't think it will be like this at all. So if you have audios or videos on your site, it is best to provide text alternative. If it's a video, some people cannot hear, or some people cannot see, some people cannot hear, so you need to provide text alternative, uh transcript for audio and subtitle tracks for videos, right? So yeah, I think that's all. Does anyone have any question?
So let me check the chat section and get back to you.
Okay.
If we're streaming, let's feel free to ask questions, drop questions in the comment section.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a question. Um,
Okay.
Omogun says, okay, I'll just display some chats so that we can see them. So we had a few people asking. So Amalgun says, "Thank you for the great talk." And then Kingsley Etukuda says, "Thank you so much. I have learned a lot." So we can keep dropping our comments so that our speaker knows how well today's talk has gone, and where we might be having challenges too. Feel free to ask questions where need be. Okay, we'll wait for more questions. But in the meanwhile, I have a question, which is, so we know how Vue.js was created by Evan You and all of that. So how about this thing called web accessibility? Who brought it into being, or like where is this coming from? Because I believe that before it came up, before the concept of web accessibility came up, there was probably nothing like that, right? People were probably building and not caring about people who were impaired or not caring about disabled. So when did it all start? Who came up with the idea? Or yeah, I feel like we might want to know that, or I would like to know that.
Okay, so thing is that web accessibility has always been a thing. That was why I said one of the major causes of web accessibility was that there is a wide knowledge gap. We really don't know much about it. In fact, the very first time I was introduced to web accessibility was I don't know if you know Front End Mentor.
Yeah,
Front
I
End
do.
Mentor exists, yeah. So I concluded a project on Front End Mentor, and this woman, I think her name is Grace No. So the critics she gave me on my project was a lot. It was a lot. And I'm like, how now? What exact why? So that was when I realized that there is something called accessibility. So it has always been in existence, just that we do not know, right? There is this wide knowledge gap. And I think it's the fact that in this part of the world, inclusiveness is not really a thing. But in
Mm,
yeah, so inclusive is not really a thing, but in some parts of the world, they have to like put it in practice. They
mm,
can't leave a lot of people out of the web. Do you
mm,
get? Yeah.
mm,
So that is why we have guidelines like WCAG. There are a whole lot of bodies that they're actually focused on accessibility, like rules that are guiding accessibility. You don't just say, okay, this is the way it should be. No, there are like
yeah, okay.
stipulated rules. We have VCAG, we have W3C, and
Mm,
bodies like that.
okay, so okay. Nice. Because I am aware of WCAG, right? And I was thinking that it was the body that publishes WCAG that started the whole concept around web accessibility.
Yeah, yeah. So in
So
fact, laws like that has to be accessibility has been like way back, like 1700. So it has always been in existence. Just that we are in the dark. We do not know, probably because our tutors did not really open our eyes to stuff like that. In fact,
but
when that
that's
woman,
yeah.
yeah, when that woman gave me that criticism, I'm like, what is she talking about? What's she talking about? But when I started like ticking everything she said one by one, I'm like,
Mm.
what exactly? We've been cooking all this while. Because yeah, yes, because you see senior developers and you realize that, man, they are just straight. I think I visited a site by one of these gurus, and
There are
I
train
saw
divs
about
everywhere.
I not even div. I saw about 4H1 on the page. So the
Wow,
texts are really,
fantastic.
really, yeah. So the texts are really, really big. I don't blame him. If I was the one, I would have done that too. If I'm not aware of accessibility and stuff like that.
Mm,
So the knowledge gap is really bad. It's really a thing. There's not so much web accessibility sensitization and stuff like that.
mm, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Ah, nice, nice. It's been awesome to learn these and more today. Etukudo, do you have any questions? Omogun, you have any questions? Kashope, any questions? Okay, so in the absence of no questions, I believe I have learned a lot, and I believe everyone has learned a lot. If you saw when all comments were being shared. Okay, so Etukudo has something to say, which is um, please, if there are communities where opportunities are being shared, I'm really interested. So, Etukudo, what kinds of communities are you talking about here? Or does anyone have an idea? Toriela, Amy, what do you think Etukudo might be talking about?
I think he's talking
So
about
for
jobs.
me, jobs, yeah, exactly.
Okay, jobs. Etukudo, is that what you mean? We'll wait a bit. Oh, okay, yeah, he's talking about jobs. Yeah, you're right. So, Amy, Toriela, do you have any communities Etukudo could join for jobs?
I think
Well, there are a couple of them.
Okay.
So we currently have VGS Slack channel, though a lot of opportunities have not been going on there. But then what I can do is it's a Kuda Kingsley per se. If you can chat me up on Twitter, then I'll give you a couple list of some of them. Or I'll drop it on our Slack channel that you can actually join later today. So you just follow the link on our bio, and then you'll get access to the Slack channel. And then maybe just chat me up there, and then I'll compile a list of some of the communities you can join.
Fantastic stuff. Nice. Okay, so Etukudo, you have a solution to that already. Just hit Amy up on the Slack channel, and she'll be sure to provide response to your concerns. Okay. Any other questions before we call it a day? Okay. He also wants your Twitter handle. I know you had mentioned he should reach you out on Twitter, Amy. So he wants your Twitter handle.
Okay,
Or
I'll
how
I'll
could
put
he
it on the
reach you
chat
on Twitter?
section.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all we have time for today. It's really been an awesome session where Tiriola Fadiat has talked us through all that pertains to web accessibility, the body that manages it, how we can find all that is needed to have our website become accessible by the impaired and disabled, and the importance that web accessibility brings to any product, any digital product that we might be working on. So thank you so much, Toriela. Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you so much to everyone who was on the live with us. And then we hope to see you next meetup. Have a beautiful weekend and have fun. Yeah, have fun.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. Thank you, Victoria.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.